What's up, guys and girls? Uber Mike SoCal here with another update to my Uber channel. In today's video, I'm going to go over my first week of driving with Uber, a retrospective of that. I've currently been driving for about 8 months now, part-time for Uber. I'm going to go over a few of the things I did right and a lot of the things that I did wrong. This video is dedicated for anyone that's ever driven for Uber, and more importantly, anyone that has yet to drive for Uber. This video is for you to hopefully learn from some examples of good and bad of what you can do driving for Uber. My first week of Uber, I can remember my very first day when I started. I was not familiar with the app. Nobody is until you do it a couple times. Initially, I was thinking, okay, and when a ride comes in, what am I going to do? How do I find them, etc. So I had an initial concern. I watched a lot of videos before that, but ultimately it was pretty easy. I signed in. I got a ride within the first 5 or 10 minutes, whatever it was. Showed up on the app. I figured it out within a few minutes. Wasn't a big deal. My first ride was only a $3 ride. It was about a mile, I guess. So they didn't go very far. But that was the first ride. My second ride, however, was pretty interesting. I'll get into that in another video for a funny or scary type of story, but the end result was a pretty sketchy dude. I thought I was going to get robbed, stabbed, shot, whatever, and it turned out to be none of the above, but it had a funny ending. As far as what I did right my first week of Uber, the first week of Uber, I did everything I could to make sure I accepted every ride I could. I stayed busy. I tried to figure out the best times and write them all down in the areas I was working at that time. I tried to make a mental note and a physical copy of that, writing on a pen and paper, of the areas that were busy and what times they were. So that was helpful in learning that. Any area that I was not familiar with, I made a note of, okay, I went here at this time. Was it a busy time, yes or no? Would I come back, yes or no? Would it be something I'd want to try at a different time? So those are some things I did right. What were some other things I did right? I greeted every customer, passenger, whatever you want to call them, with a proper greeting. Hello, how's it going? How are you? How's your day going? Whatever. And made sure that my ratings were going to be something that would be on the high end and not the low end to start it off well. That would be very important for a new driver because you don't want to start off with a low rating. Initially, any bad rating is going to hurt you, drop you a lot, but ultimately, if you have enough 5 stars, you're going to ride out that wave of bad. So those were some good things. Now, what did I do wrong when I started with Uber on my first week? And this will be important for anyone that's never driven. These are good tips. All right, the first thing is, when you accept a ping, how far away was that ping? Was it over 10 minutes? You might not want to take it. Now in your area, you might live in an area that's kind of spread out and far. That might be normal for you. In Southern California, a 10-minute trip usually is not worth the time. I'm going to put a little disclaimer in there and say, yeah, it can be worth it, but if you only go 2 or 3 miles, you just drove a long way. And if they do a short trip, you basically wasted about 30 minutes for $3 or $4, maybe even $2.40. It happens. So that was something I did wrong at first. The second thing I did wrong was I didn't know the areas that were good, and I kept working bad areas. Bad areas meaning infrequent rides, not enough traffic, lots of downtime, or just plain bad areas that you don't want to work because they may be dangerous or somewhere you don't want to be. And during that first week, you don't know any better, so I tried to catch on as quick as I can, but that was something I did bad. Another thing I did wrong was I accepted the ride, and once I was in front of a passenger's residence, business, whatever, I would accept the ride, meaning slide the little dial to the right, meaning they were in my car and ready to go. Don't do that. Why do you not want to do that? Well, if they don't show up, you're going to have a problem. Because when you accept that ride, the passenger will get an option to rate you. If they never got in your vehicle before, they're going to rate you a 1 star because they didn't go anywhere and they got charged for it. It's a guaranteed way to sink your rating, and I unfortunately made that mistake a few times. I will say this much: if you do accept the ride before they're in the car, make sure that you've seen them first and waved at them, that they know it's you. In that case, you may be able to be alright with it. Still, there are exceptions to that. What if you accept the ride, wave at them, and then they tell you to wait for another 5 or 10 minutes? Do you really want to wait 10 minutes for a short ride? You might not. Wait until they're in the car. That way you can have discretion of where you're going to go. So don't accept the ride until they're in their car is the point I want to hammer home for any new drivers or just any drivers in particular. It's just good practice, guys. Keep your ratings up. Don't get screwed over by being bombarded by a 1-star rating over something trivial. If you accept the ride and you decide you don't want it, you're going to have to submit a cancellation reason. Usually, if you drive maybe a block or two down the street, it'll say this trip was too short. What was the reason for it? At that point, select the proper reason. If they had too much luggage in the car, which does happen, put too much luggage. Select that one. If it was a ride you didn't want to take because it was way too far, let's say it was 80 miles away and it was your last stop of the night, I don't want to do that. And you're like, no way, I'm not going to do it. Sorry guys, we'll get you another Uber. Cancel their ride out where it says do not charge rider. If you charge the rider, they're going to be pissed off. They're going to submit a complaint. They're going to have to dick around with Uber and get reimbursed. It's just a bad experience. So if you do have to cancel that ride after you've already hit accept, select the proper reason. If you can't figure out one, do the option of do not charge rider. It's just bad business to bill them for something and have to risk a negative result out of it, whether it be a bad experience with Uber or a just overall bad impression with you and everything else that happened with it. So don't do that. Those would be a few things I did wrong and right with Uber. Hopefully this video was helpful to you. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you have not subscribed to my videos, I encourage you to hit that subscribe button. All videos are free. It'll keep you updated with all my future videos for everything Uber related. Thank you very much, guys. See you next time.